All right, guys. Hello. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do this rant because I was told about this on Discord, and apparently, Mattel is being ableist towards Thomas the Tank Engine now. So, Justin or Sunshine State Aviation, as it's called on Discord, he showed me this video as well as a screenshot. So, I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about right now. So here it is. So it says here, a Mattel representative flat out said they'd rather have Thomas and Friends not be associated with the autism community. This hit a very personal spot for me, so I had to rant about it. So I'm also going to be playing the video that he also sent me. So here it is. Because what Mattel is doing right now is really, really fucked up at this point. I'm personally offended at what Mattel is saying to the autistic Thomas and Friends fans like myself. Yeah, this is completely fucked up. So yeah, it's a 14-minute long video, so
I've only been gone 2 weeks, and then like this happens. I had no intention of recording another video for a long time whilst I'm still working on my final year project for university. I had no intention.
Team Hit Entertainment, yeah.
This pissed me off to no end, and
I think Mattel technically also killed Lyric Studios as well.
Or my feelings towards this can't be explained with just like a simple Twitter thread. Just like saying why this is. I need to be personal about this because it feels personal to me. It has personally pissed me the fuck off. I'm not entirely sure about the full details about where this image in particular came about, but it had something to do with a lawsuit involving Mattel, and they gave their reasons for not being inclusive towards people with autism at a Thomas Land attraction. Furthermore, in connection with the railway's proposed marketing initiative, I'm guessing it was the railway that was holding the Thomas Land thing, it's recommended to Mattel that it make broader efforts to welcome members of the autism community to Thomas Land by dedicating an annual day at Thomas Land catering to the autism community. To that end, Railway proposed marketing Thomas Land more.
They made Bob the Builder and Thomas the Tank Engine more worse.
Such as reducing sound, creating quiet rooms,
especially with All Engines Go,
headphones to block
which I
out train
still
noise,
fucking
etc.
despise.
Mattel representatives resisted Railway's promotional efforts in this regard, with Mattel representatives stating on one occasion, in sum or substance, that Mattel doesn't want to get involved with that, i.e., that it would not be in the best interest of Mattel or the Thomas and Friends brand to be associated with the autism community. The same Mattel representative insisted that all marketing promotion done by Railway for any such autism event be designed to warn other customers coming to the park and/or Thomas Land that they may have a different experience due to the autism event. Due to Mattel's resistance and lack of support, Railway did not implement any sensory-friendly days for the autistic community at Thomas Land. You can see why this feels fucking personal to me. Mattel are personally to blame for this. So do not, in any power that you have, try to harass anybody involved with the show as it is like nowadays. Don't harass anybody in general. But what I'm specifically saying is don't go after any of the voices involved in that show or the writers or the animators, anybody involved in sort of like the production of it. That is not their fault. This is entirely a Mattel-based problem. it's that line of not in their best interest, not in their best interest to be
Yeah, I cannot.
welcoming to the
I
autism
fucking
community
despise
and
Mattel now.
personally looking out for them. The reason why it rubs me the wrong way in the first place is because Thomas and Friends has such
Hold on, I need to
huge
put this on my
connection
community tab.
to people with autism that maybe it wasn't like the intention, like at the start, and the intention at the beginning was just to adapt a TV series based off of a popular book series that Britt Allcroft had fallen in love with. That was the intention of the show. But regardless if it was the intention or not, the show became loved by members of the autism community.
I copied the link to the video and I posted on my community post.
It became a favorite of theirs. It became a safe space for them. Whether it was intentional or not. And
the classic Cartoon Network shows of the 90s to 2000s are a nostalgic gem.
Exactly. People with autism to share their appreciation for this, and in doing that, they to sort of like let it be, saying, you know what, people with autism love this show, and we're going to appeal it to them. We're going to continue appealing it to them. Maybe there were some changes, after the original company left, but it was all, you could always feel that it was their best interest to keep it, associated with the autism community, because that was the audience, that was part of the audience it connected with. It wasn't the entire audience, connected to it, but it was large enough that you could feel the presence in the audience of fans that talked about it. And that was because of the show's very laid back and relaxing synthetic score, the beautifully handcrafted models. There was always a sense of, you could always directly tell what a character was feeling, by their faces. They were, part of it is because it is a kid's show, but but their facial expressions and their dialogue were very blunt. It was very easy to understand how they were feeling. And one of the biggest things about that show that, other shows of that time didn't do.
Oh yeah, don't forget, remember the O face that Thomas made? That became a popular meme.
Restrained. It didn't need to have high octane energy into it, because that was never the intention of the original books. The books were written as bedtime stories. They just became something bigger as Wilbert continued to write them, and the show ran with what was established in those books.
Because you remember the O face that Thomas made and the sound effect that became a meme?
Appealing to people with autism who were just overcome in a world that's so full of sensory overload and all this noise and chaos that makes them go into a panic meltdown. It appealed to them and gave them a safe space that let them it let me it let people like me know everything was going to be okay. Everything could be quiet because we are here to help you. That was a huge part of Thomas and Friends. And to hear that the companies that have taken the brand, it's been about 10 years, since they bought this off of Hit Entertainment, and to hear that representatives have taken a show that is near and dear to the autism community and decided we're not going to look out for those people anymore because it's not in our best interest and we do not want to get involved with it, is fucking disgusting. It really paints a perfect picture of what their true intentions were from the start when they bought this franchise all the way back in 2011, 2012, or like around then. It really paints a clear picture of what their true intentions were. Their intentions were to do the bare minimum to win back fans because of, like a crap that we had to, that many had to suffer through with, what Hit Entertainment, did. I'm not saying Hit Entertainment did, a completely terrible job. They did some things right, but it was clear that the series was starting to suffer a little bit with the switch to CGI. Mattel took that, did the bare minimum to win back the audience, rested on their laurels, and did a complete 180 when a vast majority of the fans had come back and just completely, distanced themselves from them. They alienated them in their attempt to rebrand the series into something that just felt way too different. And then when that wasn't working, they changed it to something even more different. And what were they doing that for? other than to make a quick cash. There were passionate people involved with their production to begin with who wanted the show to succeed, who wanted to bring back their audience. Andrew Brenner, Michael White, much later on in the, when they did the Big World, Big Adventures thing, they were people that knew what worked and what didn't work with Thomas and Friends and took the initiative to include that in the show. It wasn't to Mattel's interest. They could do whatever they wanted so long as it, meant that the show was coming out in the first place. And when the show began to suffer because Mattel weren't marketing it properly, they thought,
that's right.
This isn't working. Let's do
Mattel,
something completely
you have caused
different.
Confusion and delay.
I feel so blessed and so grateful that I had, the classic era of the show to grow up with, a series that appealed to my mental problems and the challenges that I faced with growing up with my autism and having to go to a primary school that knew next to nothing about how to deal with it and treated me like an outcast. So, I had Thomas and Friends, the show, the classic era, to hold on to. I had that as my safe space to keep me going, and it did keep me going. It got me to it got me into a point in my life where I got better help for coping with my autism, and it got me to I don't know, feel some sense of normality. It allowed me to get to a point in my life where I feel like I can fit in with, just sort of everyday people. Like I can go out of their house and sort of walk about and just not be filled with overwhelming stress towards small changes to my daily routine, loud noises, or anything else that my autism couldn't cope with. I owe a lot of that to the show. I also owe it to a lot of my family and friends who stuck by me all that time. I absolutely. But Thomas is such a big part of it, and it really
Mattel has really caused confusion and delay
to know
this time.
that people, kids and people with similar problems that I faced and sometimes still face nowadays won't get that. Because Thomas and Friends now is just too different to a point where
I apologize, this is going to be a little short stream, but I have to
associated
rant about this
the vast
as well.
Majority of its fandom. It's isolating.
After this video ends, I'm probably going to be wrapping this stream up.
Like they don't matter. They do matter. You do matter. You watch this show. You enjoy it. It appeals to you. You fucking matter. No matter what this company tells you. And it's got me thinking, are we now at a point where the franchise has to be handed over to a company that does understand what Thomas and Friends is about? And it is like how to pinpoint.
Oh yeah, Mattel also makes Monster High.
Have different ideas.
Forgot to mention that.
How to present this show. But if they're given a clear understanding as to why the show has the fandom it has and why so many people with autism are connected to it, if it can understand
I don't like this video. He's literally just mad at Thomas and Friends, not any situation around Mattel's treatment.
I don't want to say that I've completely lost faith in them. I'm holding on to that little shred of hope that something good can come. That something good can come out of them. But they're not doing well to convince me. They're really not doing well.
Justin told me about this in DMs on Discord, so
show that they have an understanding of what this show, of how this show
And especially ever
appeals
since
to people. Mattel,
All
if
Engines
you
Go
think
came
that this
out.
is the way to treat your audience
And
involved
gosh,
with this
you know how
franchise,
much
if
I
you think
fucking
that this
hate,
is the
how much
way
I fucking
to brand
despise
the
All Engines
franchise of
Go.
such a long-lasting history, such a widely loved source material, and such a passionate
Because ever since
fandom,
Mattel
if
bought
you think this is the way
Hit
to brand
Entertainment.
it with all that, then
Well, yeah, I think Mattel
either
also killed Lyric Studios as
give
well.
this brand, give this franchise to a company that will understand it, or
Yeah, Lyric Studios
make a
used to
change to
release
show that you
Barney and
understand.
Wiggles titles
What
back
else have you got
then.
to fucking lose at this point?
You know,
I
Lyric
mean,
Studios.
you've shown to us over the past 10 years that you can revitalize a series that had been, suffering, towards, a massive.
I guess you
switch in
could probably also
CGI.
say
You've
Lyric
shown
Studios is
that
also a
you can
Giga
bring
Chat
a
as
show
well.
back into the limelight and then do a complete 180 and completely change the outlook on it. If you can do shit like that, then I hope that you can understand what
Hello,
Thomas and Friends
CWK.
means. I want to believe that you are better than this. And all you've got to do is show me, show us.
About to eat dinner. Yeah, I'm about to do the same thing as well soon.
See you in a bit.
Well. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that Lo-Fi Girl reference picture there. Imagine if Maxim Smirnov was in that one too. But yeah, anyways. Let me go through like some of the news article, like some of the article in there again, so I can read off what was written on there. Hold on. Let me read it real carefully. So it says here. Mattel denied Railway's request to open Thomas Land just for the child, his guardians, and classmates. The extent of Mattel's support of this marketing initiative was to provide free coloring books to the child and his classmates. All other aspects of this marketing initiative were developed, funded, and executed slowly by Railway. Furthermore, in connection with Railway's proposed marketing initiative, it recommended to Mattel that it made broader efforts to welcome members of the autism community to Thomasland by dedicating an annual day at Thomasland catering to the autism community. To that end, Railway proposed making Thomasland more sensory friendly for such events, e.g., like reducing sounds, creating quiet rooms with activities, providing headphones to block out train noise, etc. Mattel representatives resisted Railway's promotional efforts in this regard, with a Mattel representative stating on one occasion, in some more substance, that Mattel doesn't want to get involved with that, i.e., that it would not be in the best interests of Mattel or the Thomas the Tank Engine brand to be associated with the autism community. Now that part right there kind of pisses me off. That same Mattel representative insisted that all marketing and promotion done by Railway for any such autism event be designed to warn other customers coming to the park and or Thomasland that they may have a different experience due to the autism event. Due to Mattel's reticence and lack of support, Railway did not implement any sensory-friendly days for the autistic community at Thomasland. Yeah. Mattel has really caused confusion and delay at this point. I do not like what Mattel is doing to the Thomas the Tank Engine brand right now as a whole. Ever since they stopped making the CGI series, even like they like abandoned like the let me look at when they first like let me look that up. Hold on. Hold on. So So starting in 2008 saw the introduction of CGI effects. Like this only did I know they still use the traditional models and sets, but then eventually beginning in like 2009 they did some major changes where they now decided to switch to full computer animation, with the animation being done by Canadian animation company Nitrogen Studios. I'm pretty sure you know that company. And then beginning in 2013, they switched to Arc Productions in Toronto. Hold on. Yeah. I just don't know what else to say about this, but yeah, I'm gonna probably wrap up the stream because I know, as I said before, it's a short stream. So, thank you guys for tuning in to this. I hope to see you all in the next video. So, take care, y'all.